Welcome to another episode of Up Close and Personal with Angela. On behalf of Aspiring Authors Magazine, I want to thank you guys for chiming in once again. For those that do not know who I am the queen of collaborations. Author Angela Thomas. I'm the founder of AALAC, which is the African American Author Literacy Awareness Campaign. I am also the CEO of Aspiring Authors Magazine, where my whole desire is to bridge the gap between brown authors all over this world and to touch on topics that's affecting our brown community that others don't know about. Those things that they brush under the rug, we talk about over here at Aspiring Authors Magazine. I am super honored to be able to bring you guys these 122 authors from around the world as we highlight and showcase them as my journey. I'm super excited. Today we have a special guest that's stopping by to share with us. So as we prepare to bring our special guests up, I want you guys to take a moment to share this in your circle of influence because you never know who may need what is going to be shared on today. So take this opportunity to share this while up my special guest. Hello. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I can't complain. I never can complain because it's just like using the restroom on yourself. But I am super honored to have you in the midst on today. I tell you, the enemy been busy with the technology on today, so I was kind of nervous, but I'm glad that you are in the building. For those
Yes.
that don't know you, I want to take this opportunity for you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Well, my name is Sherri LAVON, and I am from Knoxville, Tennessee. And I am an ordained psalmist, evangelist, and teacher. I'm a mother that has buried two of my very own children who I love dearly. And what I do now is help publish books, um, offer healing, um, spiritual counseling. We have a radio show and a TV show that we'll talk about later that you can become our guest on our show and to connect with people like yourself because we had you down here in Knoxville, Tennessee for a writer's retreat. And so God is saying in this new season that we've connected with a lot of women and a lot of people. And it's time now to go full circle. And that there was a divine connection that we all had. And it blesses me to see everybody in their purpose. So, Angela, thank you so much for just having me on your show. It's a wonderful to see your growth. It's wonderful to see some of the things you're doing. And I'm so honored to be on your show today. So thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for stopping by and sharing with us. I tell you, God is definitely in the blessing business, and I thank Him because I never thought I would be doing half the things that I'm doing, and it's by faith that I'm here. So I'm just grateful, and I take every opportunity that I have to utilize my platform to share His goodness. And I was honored to be able to meet you. I don't know if you know, but it was because of you and that retreat that I attended that I was able to publish all the books that I've published. I attended your retreat. I have now published almost 54 books.
Oh my
I have
God.
54 in the works right now. But because of that retreat, and I just want to personally thank you because I had
Yeah.
a bad experience and I was able to attend that retreat. And for that one day that I spent with you guys, I was able to take that knowledge and apply it. I prayed and I asked God to allow those things that you shared with us for me to be able to manifest through books. And that's exactly what he did. And not just one, but I have, I was just looking at Amazon today, exactly 54 books up on Amazon.
Oh, wow. So I first want to say congratulations because one of the things that I find about you, Angela, that was an inspiration to me that you didn't know. We all go through things sometimes. And when you step out on faith, you stepped out on faith that particular weekend. And you wasn't even really supposed to be there. But then God supernaturally stepped into the mist and carried you here to Knoxville by yourself because you was by yourself
Mhm.
and it was something so special about you. And I just want you to know that there's women out here that are struggling in various areas of their life. And when you go to a writer's retreat, a lot of times it's not just about the food and the lodging and sleeping, but it's the networking and the connecting. And all of you ladies, I use that picture a lot. There's a picture we took outside, and all of us, I think I was in the middle, and all of y'all were looking at me. And God was showing me how all of you women that were in that picture, every last one of y'all wrote a book. Every last one of y'all had issues that we were going through that needed some healing. And God says that that retreat was a healing retreat. It was a retreat to bring other people together that are going through their own situation, but can put that situation to the side for one common greater good, which was to learn how to publish books. And so I'm just honored. You surpassed me, girl. I think I might be at 14 or 15 because we started doing journals. We send books to inmates in prison. So God was showing me some of these books I was doing, the repeat readers. I was like, y'all got this over 2 point some million people in prison. I can't send y'all a book every month. So God was showing me how to create planners that were yearly planners. That way they had that book for 1 year, gave them so much inspiration, the calendars, passwords. I had in there self-help stuff, but it made it really great because that one book lasted them for a year. And so that had been our mission. So I had kind of got away from writing books because I was still healing. The Root of My Pain is a book that we're dealing with healing. And so what I wanted to talk about today with you is the new book that I got coming out is going to be called, it's Root of My Pain continuation, but it's called From Miss to Mrs. And people say, what is that? I go, well, when you've never been married, you are a MISS, right? And then when you get married, you are a MRS. But when you get divorced or you're widowed, you become a MS. And God is saying in this season going into 2023, God wants you to know your identity. A lot of times people are not addressing us as God sees us. So if you've never been married and you see MISS on a program, miss this, miss that, then that lets a person know that person has never been married. But what becomes hurtful is when you were married, MRS, and you became divorced or widowed and you became a MS. People now address you MISS again. And so you will see your name on flyers and on certain things, MISS. And God says in this season, you need to address who you are. So if you've never been married, you are an MISS. But if you're widowed or divorced and you see MS at the end of a person's name, that becomes a conversation starter for you. Because now when I know that someone's MS, I'm going to ask, is your husband widowed or are you a divorce? Are you divorced? Because now I know it becomes an opener for the rooted pain that that person has been through. So a MS person has been through pain. An MRS person, they may go through pain, but they're married, they have someone with them, and they have that continuation. But when you meet someone that's a MS, God says you automatically know there's hurt there because they're either divorced or their spouse has died. And in the Bible, it speaks about taking care of the widows. And so today's message for everybody is to learn your identity. Know who you are. Because Angela, you knew who you was when you came here. You might have been going through a lot, but you knew who you was. And we saw that in you. And I already knew you were going to surpass a lot of people in becoming an author. I knew that from the beginning. It was just a matter of time of sitting back and watching. And that's what God has had us to do. And one thing I love about you, there's no hate. There's no envy. People may envy you, but you don't carry it. And I thank you for that, because any envy or malice or jealousy that comes your way, you're going to produce a book about it. Hi. So I'm telling people today, don't be carrying that stuff because it can go in a book. And so just know you inspire more people than you realize. I'm honored to even know you, but more than anything, I have a sisterhood with you. And like I told you before, a lot of us that's in this industry become competitive and we don't support each other. But you've never been that way to me. You've always honored what I did, but I've always been watching you. And I just want you to know that. And in some areas, you've surpassed me. And I'm really proud of that, because everybody's walk is not the same. And God's direction and focus for people are not the same. So therefore, some people will learn from you to excel in the area they need to go. Because when you go back full circle, we're gonna all need each other again. So I'm just blessed, girlfriend.
Amen. Amen. You said a lot there, but you said a lot that people needed to hear because a lot of us we lose our mark and we miss our mark because we're looking at everybody else's mark and what everybody else is doing, and what God has called you to may not be what He's called them to, and we're looking at everybody else and we missing what He has for us. So
That's
I'm
right.
glad you said that on today because some people needed to hear that.
Yes. Yes. Because
But
you
I
was a
just wanted to
forefront.
I wanted to go back and touch on something that you said about the retreat. Because, yeah, the enemy was real upset with me. I traveled there alone. I remember that morning when I got on the expressway, I got on the highway, I was gassing up and I locked my keys in my car. And I had
Yes.
to call a locksmith. I left my car was running. Um, and I had to call a locksmith and they had to come and unlock my car. And the enemy kept telling me to go back home. You didn't need to go, just go back home. But I was determined to be there. I was determined to be there. So
Yes, ma'am.
I came on and God blessed me. He
Yes,
did
he
just
did.
what He said He would do. And He blessed me. So I just wanted to share that. Um,
Yes. Yes. It
but yeah,
was
God is
amazing. It
good.
was a great retreat.
It truly was. It truly was. I'm truly honored to be a part of it. But I really want you to share about what you are doing with the prison ministry, because that is something that is near and dear to my heart. The prison ministry. So I really want to hear about that and what you're doing.
Yes. Well, what we're doing, we have been sending books, and God says self publishers. So through our nonprofit organization, someone can like donate $1,000. And then my job is to go buy $1,000 worth of books so that I can send them to inmates that are in prison. So what we do is we find a prison. I have a list of all the prisons around the world. They even have a special needs prison. I mean, even me myself, I'm like, Lord, I ain't trying to be funny, but a special needs prison, what did they do? I literally had to say, Lord, what did they do? But they have a special needs prison that are separated from regular prisoners. So it's really good to know that people that have issues, mental issues, disabilities, and things like that, they're not in a regular prison. So they are protected per se, and set apart from other inmates, because they would be taken advantage of, hurt, and violated in regular prisons. So I have a list of all the prisons. There's a woman named Dana Danner who is over the Tennessee Department of Corrections, and she's the principal officer through the libraries of the prison. So the main goal is to get your books into the libraries of the prisons, because then they become your name becomes an author that the inmates become to know. They'll start to follow your journey. But then it's a book that everybody starts to talk about in that prison before you actually get everybody a copy. And what we do is we send the book to the library at the prison, and then we contact the warden, and there's a paper that we send, and we find out how many inmates is at this prison. Now, the prison that we're about to do for March is going to be the annex prison. The annex prison is in Johnson City, Tennessee. And this particular prison, all of the inmates that get to that prison, they're going home 24 months or earlier. So that means everybody in that prison has done their time, and the last 24 months of their sentence, they come to a facility where they are learning to adapt to the world. They get a job, they get to work outside, they get to go to Walmart. You can send them money on a card, you can make a phone call. Like, it's a lot of great benefits to that prison, and they work outside, and so they get a chance to be in the world. And so we're gonna find out how many inmates are there now, and then we're gonna send a book to all the inmates in March. And what we do is have all the authors, they either get on my show. It's $25 to get on our TV show to promote your book. And then after you be on our show, you send us your book, and we put your book in that particular pile. If there's 400 books I need, then we just do a call and say, hey, can you drop off a book? And we'll tell you the genre, because we try to stay away from sci-fi. We stay away from murder mysteries. We stay away from things that will cause a person to fall again. So we make sure all their books are self-help or crossword puzzles, things that's going to help stimulate their mind while they're in there. And after we get all the books in, then we contact that warden to let them know that every inmate is going to get a book. And that's what stops a drama, because sometimes they get good reads and they fight over the books or fight over pages. And we had stopped the magazine from going into the prison for about a year because they stopped allowing, because we had a magazine that went into the prison, and they stopped the magazine because the magazine has staples, and the staples were becoming a weapon. They were using the staples to turn them into things. So we had to regroup and decide how we wanted to redo our magazine. So greatly, Amazon has that paperback version where you can do a book, a magazine style in paperback, 8 by 11, 8.5 by 11. And it's a beautifully put together, colored magazine, beautiful pages, no staples involved. And it's a beautiful book. And so I'm decided to go through Amazon on that. And so we can get these to the inmates. And so anybody out there that's interested in getting a book, yes,
Blurb.
to an inmate.
Blurb
Yeah.
is another platform that you may want to consider. But this is the magazine that I have, and this is the magazine that I produce. It does not have staples.
Who do you use?
It's done through blurb.com.
BLURB?
Mm-hmm.
Yay. And see, they've been sending me something, Angela, and I didn't know who that was. I was
And
like, Blur.
it's not staple. It's like a bound, glue bound.
Yes, yes, I love it. See what networking does, everybody. See what networking does. It just helps you
Yeah.
pass along. Cause so we definitely got to get all your books into this catalog, so we can get it, and we'll announce it because our magazine is due to relaunch in January. So we got to make sure, Miss Angela, that you send us over some information freely so we can make sure we get it in our magazine. Because the first issue, everybody can submit as much as they want for free. This first complimentary introductory edition. So we're letting people just submit free articles, free promos, free ads. This very first one is a limited edition, and we're offering all the ads and all the free articles for free. So I'll make sure I get that link to all your audience. They just got to go to soulsrighthouse.com/magazine. And right there, you can go in and submit anything you want for free on the free side. There's a tab there that says buy your ads, but for this month, we're not doing any ads. God said to freely let everybody submit freely. And then your ad will be in there for 3 months. So it doesn't come out again till March. So we're just excited about that. So we got to make sure, Miss Angela, we get all your stuff in that magazine, so more and more people can get connected with the 122 authors tour you got going.
Wow. And also, there are some authors that are incarcerated because I'm going to have one on my show. I do a show once a month on WBNN. I have an incarcerated author who's been incarcerated for over 20 years, wrongfully incarcerated for over 20 years. That's going to be on my show. He's calling in on Wednesday night. And there's quite a few authors behind prison wall. Um,
Yes.
so
Yes.
I definitely want to see how I can connect them with you, so that you can
Yeah.
connect with them as well.
And we
There's
actually, I would like to connect with you on a incarcerated journeys compilation book. I want to call it that, to where we can help inmates write to us their particular stories, and then we put together a book, kind of like Chicken Soup for the Soul. And what God was showing me is that we have some fathers that owe back child support in prison, and I think it would be great if we could maybe put a good book together with about 50, 50, 25 to 50 men that owe back child support, because God is saying if we start something, it's going to bring a solution to something. And I think if we can get 25 to 50 authors that owe back child support, put a book together with us, and then all the proceeds from that book goes to those kids' rears. Um, and I think this would set something in the atmosphere, because the revolving door of men coming out of prison is the child support. And then they get a job, and child support got a warrant sitting there waiting on them. So they can end up getting a job, but then they're going to come in there and pick them up on the job. And I just feel it's so degrading and it's humiliating. And I feel like as long as they're working, even if there was a warrant issued, I don't think they should pick them up from work. And they're trying to get the rears taken care of. They were in jail all this time, so naturally they didn't work. But then when they get a job, you come and arrest them, and now the child ain't gonna have no money again, because now they're in jail and the rears are going and going and going. So I think if we can be a solution for them, and we can't do it all, we can't hit them all, but we can start something where other people can jump on board, but we can produce these books for them, and then proceeds, because we can do a big old fundraiser, make it a national thing, get it to all the personalities, radio personalities, Steve Harvey, Oprah Winfrey. Like, this is the kind of thing where when we get this book done, and the purpose behind this book is that these kids who don't get no money from their fathers, who when their fathers get out gonna go back to jail because they owe money, let's be a solution and help that money go to the rears of those authors, and money is going to their kids. You feel me? And I just think
Right.
we would set a tone, because that's what they're writing and telling me, is that, what good is to get out? Then there's a warrant sitting on them. I mean, half of them at the annex know they're getting out, but some of them might have more time added because of these rears that they owe in child support, which violates their probation, and they're back in jail again. So if they get arrested for child support, they violate their probation. So if you know in the annex and they're about to go home and there's a warrant, I feel that it has to be resolved before they get to the annex, because the annex is where you're getting home about to be free. But if the annex is going to set you free, knowing you're going to end up back in there, there's miscommunication somewhere. Because I feel like at the annex, anything on that inmate should be brought about while they're still incarcerated. Don't let them get free and then come
Right.
back and get them. Like, to me, that is just so ungodly and so humane, so inhumane. So we just feel like if we can step out in this realm in 2023, and Angela, I'm actually putting it on your heart to pray about it, and our team of these authors and those that might even want to get involved, but to help these inmates that owe back child support. And I just feel like as an author, we can get these stories out, and then it becomes a chain effect to helping them, because it's no different from Kim Kardashian and all these stars that help these inmates get out of prison. Well, we got to help these children that don't get any money from their parents, and they think their parents do it on purpose. They need to know their parents love them. They need to know that they work and they're doing the best they can, but they're not trying to go back to jail. And if we can stop it by applying money to their rears, then I just think that it's a win-win for everybody. So we're going to pray about that and leave it out there. But I just think that's in 2023, God says, be the solution. Quit complaining and be the solution. And I just feel like that would be one solution to help these children that get nothing while their parents are incarcerated, but then to stop the warrants long as they're working. Now, you got to do what you got to do if you don't want to get out and don't want to work and don't want to take care of your kids. You're setting yourself up for failure. But for those fathers getting out, working, I don't feel it's fair to go pick them up at their job and send them right back into the system over something they had no control over. That's just my take on it.
Wow. I mean, you said a lot, and everybody that follow me, they know that this prison, this judicial system is near and dear to my heart. And there's definitely need to be some restructure. There needs to be some reconsideration of a lot of things that's taking place right now. But I'm with it. I just whatever we have to do, because
Yes.
I'm all for prison ministry and anything that's going to bring about change. God dropped in my spirit a couple of years ago. I think it was 2020, and it was to be the change that you desire to see. We
Yes.
keep talking about what we want to see and what we want to happen, but I have to be the change that I want to see. So I challenge people all the time. That's one of my hashtags: be the change that you desire to see.
That's
So
right.
I stopped talking about it. I kept talking about, you know, authors behind prison walls and different things. So I just stopped talking about it, and I just started having them on my shows and allow them to tell their story and allow people to hear their stories. So the guy that's going to be on my show tomorrow night, he's actually been on before, and people requested him back. So
Oh,
I'm bringing him back to share his story. This man has been incarcerated for over 20 years, and he's incarcerated for a self defense, for something that was self defense, and it's just crazy. It's just really crazy. And we had a guy that was released about 2 months ago, um, that had been incarcerated for over 40 years. 38 of those years he spent in solitary confinement. So I
oh,
definitely, yeah, it's just that's something that I'm passionate about. So I'm on board. anything that I
Yes.
can do.
Yes.
And then I have family members that have been incarcerated, and then I have family members that work in the prison system. I see it from both ends. And I'm
Yes.
thankful that I have the family members that truly care about people and are not part of the foolishness that we are hearing, and
Yes.
some are saying that are going on behind prison walls. So I applaud you for what you're
Thank you.
doing and for the difference that you're making, because people don't realize what it's like being behind prison walls, and not only how behind prison walls, but how the families are affected that's on the outside. Because even though we
Yeah.
may be free, it's still we still are doing time too. It seems like we're doing time with our family members. So
Yes.
I applaud you for what you're
Thank
doing.
you.
I know that you are a songstress too. I know that you
Yes.
sing. You have a beautiful voice. I've had opportunity to hear you sing. So how can people follow and support your music?
Yes. Well, now I finally have set up, I've been up under Soul's Right House so long, because when you're building your brand, one thing I've learned about building your brand and being strategic is you got to have that logo that when you take your face out of it, you have your logo. And what had happened is I had met Angel Wright, and I went to met some different types of brand specialists and strategic people to kind of look at what I was doing. And I was the face of everything. And sometimes when we become the face, I got to look at the person like the can of Pringles. I don't know what the owner of Pringles look like, but I do know that can. Meaning that when I go in the store, I can see all the cans that look like red Pringles, all I want. But I'm looking for that man with that circle, with that mustache and them little eyes. That's what I'm looking for. And so as we learn about branding ourselves, it said less of you and more of your brand. Because what happens is we know we have naysayers and jealous people and haters and all that. And we get that. But what happens is when you're building a brand, you're behind the brand. So it's like, do you want to see you and your brand back here? Or do we want to see the brand and you back here? Because you're the reason behind the brand. So what happened is my face, my silhouette, the face. I love silhouettes of noses and mouths and so Soul's Right House, Situation of Life Stories, souls. He always showed me a soul. So he showed me the outline of a face. It never has eyes, but it has a nose and lips. So that's what my logo became. And so now Soul's Right House has its own thing, but then Sherry LAVON Music has now separated from Soul's Right House. So I have my own identity. So now Sherry LAVON Music channel is on YouTube. And on a daily basis, I download God to give me a message. So whether he might say repent, or he may say, I'm watching you. And it's amazing, but I get these producers, they give me these tracks. I go in there and record this 58-second song for God, because he's calling them song messages from God. And I've got about 200 and something I've now downloaded about 200 and something on my channel now. You just go under the playlist of Sherry LAVON Music channel. And every day I got a new message from God, and it is so powerful. I mean, it's been so hard for me not to sing a whole song because I'm used to being in studios doing a whole 4-minute song. But God said, I need these snippets because it's like the chorus of the song. I need them to hear the message. And we hear the message through music. And so it was like one song he gave me called Starting Today. And when I got up, I was like, okay, God. So when it comes on, it's like starting today, I'm gonna let my past go. Yes, goodbye. Starting today, mercy and grace follows me, and favor is on me. 'Cause starting today, being the lady God made me to be. Proverb 31, that's me. 'Cause starting today, and that's what he'll do. It'd be that fast, and the music be just jamming. You just being your little girl. But God said there's a song for you. So all these titles, they're going to end up in 2 songs. All these 58-second titles are going to be titles of books. So he said, don't get it twisted. They 58 seconds, but they're titles. And he's saying, and I don't know if they're going to be books, if they're going to be songs, but it's to let somebody know you on that street. So no matter what song or where you at in your life, God has a song on my channel just for you. So I tell people, get on that channel, subscribe to Sherri LaVon Music Channel, and you'll be surprised because it'll be a song right there. Because I, in burying my children, I singing was the only thing that healed me, and writing was a way for me to vent. And in Habakkuk 2:2, it says, write it down and make it plain from the tablet of your heart. So a lot of things are not coming into intuition in your life because you have not written it down. And God is saying, starting in 2023, that if the Bible says that's what you have to do for it to come into intuition, then you're going to have to connect and realize that ain't what you've done. You write all this stuff on Facebook, and everything you write on Facebook is coming intuition because you wrote it. So whether you say my haters, my this, well, them the ones that come on your page because that's what you're writing. When you speak of love and tranquility, that's what you bring into your life because that's what you're writing. So people got to understand the tongue, power, life and death is in the power of the tongue. So the things you say come intuition, and the things you write come intuition. So while you're writing on Facebook and you thinking because you ain't got no pen in your hand and you ain't got no paper, but you still writing from the tablet of your heart. So all those things you post on Facebook that ain't manifesting you nothing, you wrote it. So if you don't want those things in your life, God is saying quit writing them. And you're using social media can be used as a platform to build you up. So what are you connected to? Are you connected to things that is building you up, or are you connected to things that is tearing you down? The one scripture I'm going to give everybody to read tonight, I always give people homework assignments. I want you to read 2 Timothy 3. In 2 Timothy 3, it's in the New Testament, and it tells you that in the last days that you're going to have to turn away some people in your life. And I said, well, God, what are you talking about? In 2 Timothy 3, he's going to name every last spirit that you are attached to that needs to go. And it's so amazing because God said, as you read it, I'm going to show you their faces. He's going to make it very plain. But a lot of times we read the scripture for you. And God says, when I read the scripture for you, it doesn't enter you. Because it's entering me because I'm reading it. So you got to read it. So I give you bits and pieces and says, hey, God said that kind of person you need to turn away from. They're going to say, well, what? Read 2 Timothy 3. And you're going to figure it out. Because when you get to verse number 5, this is the most powerful thing God said when he answered my question. When I said, well, God, if I got to turn away from people, cut some people off, like you said, love everybody. And he did. But that is loving you. Because if loving you means cutting people off so you can rise, that's love. Because even on flowers, you know, you got to cut some dead stuff off flowers so they can continue to grow. And God is saying, let it go. There's some leaves that's got to go. The leaf is still going to have a purpose. So when the leaf fall off the tree, it's dead to us, but it's living for the ground. The ground is going to absorb that leaf and it's growing somewhere. It's going to provide shade for some of them little rodents that we don't like. God said that leaf is dead to you, but it's still living in the earth. So there's some people, they're going to have to be like leaves. You're going to have to let them down off you, okay? But they're going to still serve a purpose somewhere, but that's not your problem. Wherever they service becomes not your problem because that's not what you produce. You produce fruit. So if you're not producing any fruit, God says from such people turn away. So if you want to know who God says you should turn away from, not you, not your mama, not your daddy, not your cousin, not your girlfriends, God says, I'm going to tell you who to turn away from because the moment you do, elevation happens. And I'm going to tell everybody, when I read it for myself, I saw every demon that was attached to me. I saw every one of them. And it wasn't so much just envy and jealousy. It's just a lot of people got a lot of hidden hurt, a lot of rooted pain, and they don't want you happy because they not happy. And you ain't really figured out how you are so happy because you really ain't telling them. They just seeing you from the outside. So God says, let my love reign from the inside out. Okay. Because hey, Angela, I can have on an outfit. Our church has a thrift store. We be getting some fire clothes over there. And I can put on a dress, girl, and I be fire water. I'm talking about, girl, I be shocked. Okay. And I get so many people roll their eyes. You be having people look you up and down like you all that in a bag of chips. And I'm saying to myself, if y'all only knew that I paid $5 for this dress, I
Okay.
$5, but I'm looking better than everybody up in here. Okay. So God is saying, don't get it twisted. Let your light shine from the inside out, not the outside in, because that's deceiving. Let it rain from the inside. When you get your joy back, your happiness, you find out who you are, then you're gonna be honest to what's connected to you. Because I get tired of people saying, girl, honey, I know this producer in Atlanta. No, you don't. Because, see, I've been singing 51 years and you sure ain't turned me on to know a producer in Atlanta. So I don't like hearing people tell me who they connected with and they know that you have a gift. And in your gift, they never told nobody that you sing. Like, oh, I know this producer. I know this producer. And I'm thinking, but you've been knowing me my whole life. And you've been knowing this producer for 10 years. So 51 years, 10 years, and you never mentioned me. So you cannot be a friend. You
Well, I'm about to
cannot.
tell you, I
Let's
know
see.
some people that do music, and I'm about to put you on to them. I'm about to put you on to them. I got some people that do music. I do. And I got some people that host shows that love to share other people's music. So hey, it's out there.
It's
They
out
hear you
there.
now. They know it's out there. And I definitely have to get you on my show. I think I said I was gonna do a artist showcase. Where I was gonna bring some artists on and allow y'all the opportunity to share. Because that network that I'm on, we air in almost right now it's 19 million homes.
Oh,
So
wow.
by the time my show roll back around next week, it's probably gonna we probably gonna be on reach 20. No, I'm on
Yes.
Wednesday. I'm sorry. I'm on Wednesday. I'm gonna
Oh,
see what it hit
wow.
tonight. I'm on this Wednesday. I forgot. I'm on this Wednesday. And then I'll be back on January, I think January the 14th. But yeah, I'm booking right now. I'm trying to get I think I said I was gonna do that show in July or June, but I may have to have you on before then. Just so
Girl, you
that you can
already know.
share. Just so you can
And
share.
I got
But
to get you
I
on my show
definitely
too.
have I'm definitely gonna have you back for that artist showcase. I done it once before. But y'all can send y'all MP3s in, and then I can play y'all music during the show and all of that good stuff. And
Yes.
connect, and don't tell them who you might connect with, because like I say, there's other people on the network that does stuff too. Like the lady that hosts the show on Sunday night, she's on every Sunday night. Like she's not once a month like we are, but she's on every Sunday night because she does news form, but she also do music. She's a singer. She's our prison ministry person. Yes. Uh-huh. Dr. Chinchilla J. Have to hook you up with
Look
her.
at God.
Have to hook you up with her. Like, look, that's my girl. That's my girl. She beat me this year for well, host of the year. She is our host of the
Wow.
year for 20.
Oh,
Yeah, she beat me. At least I did rank in the top four. So yeah, I was pleased to even be
yay.
recognized as the top four. But she beat me. And I'm gonna keep telling her she beat me. But yeah, she beat me. But I am so proud of her because what she does, I mean, she goes really hard for those that are incarcerated, overly incarcerated, and wrongfully incarcerated. And she comes on every week. She does not have like we're only on one. We're on four every 4 weeks. She
Okay.
comes on every Sunday, so it
Every
is
Sunday. Whew.
constant with her. And like every Sunday, she break a record. So when it roll around to me, I'd be glad to break her record.
Yes, we decree that right
Look,
now.
we don't we it's just a friendly competition for us. It's
Yes.
not like an envious competition thing with us. It's
Yes.
just like we know that the person coming behind us, we know the next host coming after us is going break our record. Like the week that I'm on, I know that those young guys on Monday probably gonna break a record because they come with the hip hop, they come with all of the young stuff. They gonna break a record, and
Yeah.
then the lady that come on Tuesdays before me, Jerry Petito, the Jersey Jewel, she does. Now she knows a lot of people. She does the casinos, the casino people, and like a
Oh,
lot of.
wow.
She's Italian. She's from New Jersey, so she knows a lot of like, and she have them on her show. Like the guy that won The Voice, He's been on there. Like she constantly have these people on her show. Like she know a lot of people. Um,
Yay.
she comes on Tuesdays, and she say, I already know that she about to come behind me and break my record. She already the queen is coming behind me and break my record. She said, so I'm going to enjoy this for tonight. So she's gonna be on tonight. She's on tonight.
Okay.
I'm gonna go on, support her. I try to support
Yes.
them all. I go on every
Yes.
night, like 9:30.
Yes.
If y'all don't see, if anybody ever wonder where I'm at 9:30, that's where I'm at, listening to my network that I'm a part of. I usually call in and because most of the conversation I chime in on because it's stuff that I want to chime in on, stuff that matters to me. So
That's
I
right.
don't mind supporting the network, and I try to support where I can. So when people send me links and send me stuff, I definitely try to share and support. So I'm definitely going to be putting your name in some of their ears, some of their emails, some of their inboxes, tagging. Like I always when people tell me, oh, we looking for this person, I just get the tag and I just get the tagging on Facebook. So I say, everybody, please follow me on both of my pages so I can tag you.
Yes. Yes.
They froze me.
And make
Facebook
sure you send me the
literally.
link because I'm gonna watch it tonight too.
Oh, it's on Blog Talk Radio, so you have to call in. It's a call in talk
Okay, good.
radio show. Yeah, it's a talk radio
Oh,
show. But definitely, I'll definitely send you the information. But I
yes.
definitely there's a lot of individuals that's connected to. We have a guy that's connected to the magazine that has his own radio network, and he's right here in Atlanta too. So definitely Frederick Beatty. Definitely have to connect you with him. Like I said, that's a lot of people that
Yes.
right here they part of the 122 movement. Like they are part of the movement, so we are family. We're all in this together. We have other magazines, we have other podcasts, radio shows, even the internet TV. All of them are right there, so all the opportunities. Just I say just go in the group and tell them, hey, I'm here, I need to be on some shows. That's a look. That's what I look. I'm a part of you. We are a part of this together. We are a part of the
Yes.
122 author movement. So hey, you got a network. You got a show. I need to be on the show. That's what I told my one of the ladies that I interviewed the other day. She's visually impaired. Um, and she is an amazing individual. She helped me host an event. This she went and spoke to City Hall, to the City Council, because we have to do a presentation in Florence, Carolina, in order to host events inside of their parks. So we had to present, and visually impaired and all. She went and she presented about what we was going to do, and that's why I tell anybody that make excuses, excuses are for their company. Ain't no
You
time
better
for
know it.
excuses. Because if she's visually impaired and can get out here and do more than me sometimes,
That's right.
ain't no
That's
excuse.
right.
Ain't no excuse. But yeah, I definitely she's gonna be working with us. She's a part of the 122 author movement. She connected me with some more visually impaired individuals, and she texted me today. She said, "I'm ready." She said, "I am ready to just share." She said, "I'm ready to help people," and I'm ready. Like I'm
Well,
just
then
ready.
we're gonna get both of you guys on my show. We have Kingdom Purpose TV. We come on Wednesday nights at 11. Then we have a radio show every Sunday at 4. So any of your audience members, including you, Angela, I want to get you on our show. So we'll get a time together to get you on our show on Kingdom Purpose TV, and to let people know more about the 122 authors and get the word more out about your organization. Because so many times we become hosts, but people don't ask you to be on their show. Be like, okay, I got you on mine, but they never ask you to be on theirs. So I said, Lord, in 2023, I'm going to make it my business that no matter whose show I'm on, I'm always going to ask them to please follow up to come on our show. And if you don't want to do TV, you can please get on the radio show. We call it Testimonial Sundays, where you get to come on and chime in. You come, I give us a StreamYard link, and you get to come in live on our radio show. So anybody out there that's wanting to share a testimony, if you have a missing loved one out there that you're trying to find, we actually have that available in our magazine. So when you go on our magazine, you can submit pictures and information about your loved one that is missing. Also, if you have a loved one that you that has gone on to be with the Lord, you can give us their picture, their sunrise and sunset, a poem or anything like that. You can submit that in our magazine. And also we're going to have what's called what was the last one? Oh, She Will Heal Poetry. So if anybody out there love to write poetry, number one, you own all copyrights to your poetry. And I tell a lot of people that do submittings of poetry and things of this nature that one thing about Amazon is when you go on, create you a poetry book to put all your poetry that you have in one book, and then it's copywritten. So then you don't have to worry about if you share a poem with somebody or put it in somebody else's book or someone's magazine. You don't have to worry about the copyrights, because so many times people get those those agreements where people say they're not going to do nothing with your works, but then they bite your works or they take some of your words, and there's really nothing you can do about it because you submitted it without some type of confidentiality agreement in hand. So I always tell my authors, one, you can write your poetry, you can mail it to yourself. A certified letter will copyright it if you don't go through Amazon to copyright. So before you submit anything, please make sure you always do an old man's copy and certify your writings to yourself. Secondly, go on to Amazon, and Amazon will produce a book for you. You just go in and put all the stuff in there. It'll be copywritten, have a barcode, but then all your poetry will be in one book. And then you don't have to worry about it. One, you become an author of poetry so we can read all your works. But then when you start submitting stuff, it's protected. And that's what I tell all my writers. We don't own the rights to anything. We put that in our magazine. So when you submit something to us, it don't belong to us. And we just make sure you don't plagiarize and don't steal nothing of nobody else's. And if you do, you always want to get credit where it came from. So if you picked up something, you always say, "Ooh, that quote is good, but it wasn't yours." So please make sure you put whose quote it is, because we won't accept anything plagiarism wise in our magazine. So we just always make sure the credit is given where credit is due. And so just make sure you go on our website, and right now it's free all the way up to December the 17th to submit your stuff. And then the magazine will come out in January, and we're excited to have everybody a part of it.
Wow. And you say poetry. I just showed you the poetry. This is the poetry magazine that we did for I think it was April. It was a special edition to honor our poets. So you have a whole slew of
Oh
poets
my
in here.
God, girl, that's beautiful.
All of these are poets. Every last one of them are poets.
Of course.
Our poetess of the year. She's out of Africa. She's out of Lesto. No, Nigeria. She's out of Nigeria. And this was her.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Girl, that's beautiful.
So she was
Yes.
our poetess of the year. She's actually a school teacher in Nigeria. So yeah, definitely
Oh
have
my.
to connect you with them and all of the poets. We actually have a poet group on Facebook. So I definitely invite you over to that group so that you can tap into
Okay.
them. Mr. Robert, I can't leave without saying something about him. Mr. Robert, he's an amazing poet. He wrote he been writing poetry forever, but he wrote some poetry in his 20s, and he just published them like 2 3 years ago. I think he started publishing in 2015. He had 4 books out now, but he started publishing in 2015. All of his work that he wrote back then speaks to now. Everything
Oh
that
my
this man
God.
wrote 20 years ago, he been writing poetry for over 20 years, and every last thing that he wrote is speaking now. When I tell you it's speaking now, it's speaking now. He just released a poetry book called Imagine, and he did a poem on me. And when I tell you that poem was me, it was exactly me. When he read that poem to me, it spoke exactly Angela. And that man didn't know nothing that I was going through, was thinking about, or nothing. But that poem was on point.
A divine connection. It give me chills, girl. That's a divine connection. And he prophetically heard God. And that's what I'm saying about song messages from God. They're not all from me. They're songs and a message. And he said, when you get on that channel, you start listening to them songs, it's gonna blow your mind, y'all, because it's gonna find your street. And that's what he calls it. And he said it's called Survival Lane. I said, God, that is beautiful. So he says that my song messages of God is survival lane. So when you get on that lane, you're gonna survive. If you ain't on survival lane, there's no manifestation, there's no growth, there's no healing, there's no nothing. Because nothing's manifesting. It's dead, it's cold, it's dry bones. And God said, we gotta wake these dry bones up. And I even had
Right.
someone say, well, where in the Bible talk about rooted pain? Well, in Hebrews 12 and 15, because I go to God too, like everybody else. And I say, God, I go to God and Google.
Okay.
God and
They
Google got
better
it going
find
on. They
out.
both got go in their name.
Okay.
You better know it.
You
Yeah, I
better
said they
know it.
both got go in your name, so you better go look. So I said, God, where is it? Then I go to Google. Okay. And Google, and when I went and looked up rooted pain in the Bible, it took me to Hebrew 12 and 15. And in Hebrew 12 and 15, it says, see to it that no man fails to obtain grace and that no root of bitterness is causing trouble. And I said, God, you are so amazing. Everything we deal with, there's a scripture that applies
Hmm.
to your life, and you got to carry that. So he says, see to it that no man fails to obtain grace. So what that means is you got to see past the person and realize the spirit within them is not them. So quit being mad at the person, because nothing is being manifested in your family's life. Nothing is being manifested in your friends' lives, because all you doing is talking about her. What you got to do, and this is what I do to my friends. You know how they always have when you're on TV, they see the angel on your shoulder and the devil on your shoulder. God says, start doing people like this. When they the devil, start looking at them on their shoulder, and they're gonna say, "What you looking at?" Be like, "I don't like that man right there on your shoulder. I'm trying to knock him off, girl, because he got you blinded." See, God is saying you got to focus on that devil that's on their shoulder, talking to that ear. It's not
Hmm.
them. It's him. So if you ain't trying to knock him off, then that means you trying to help him grow. And I ain't trying to grow no devil. Okay. Devils slither away. They don't walk. Too many people got snakes walking in their life. And God said, I casted them a long time ago to slither away. So you're going to have to learn how to let people slither. And so God says, chop it off at the root, but you're going to have to give people some grace. So one thing he says, the word as. In the Bible, it says, do unto others as you have them do unto you. So people that treat you mean because they want you to treat them mean too. That's the devil. That's like oil and water. How can one be good, one be? So when you don't treat people like they treat you, you're loving the hell out of them. And I like that. And then he says, uh, and when you say your prayer, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, that will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive our trespassers as, there's that word again, as we forgive those that trespass against us. So what he's saying is the same grace that you get, you got to give it to somebody else. So they may start cussing and be all out of character, but you don't love them because they cuss. Matter of fact, you knew they cussed. And matter of fact, when you need somebody to cuss somebody out, that's who you call. So I already knew you cussed. But what God is saying, and in this season, is you're going to have to clean your mouth up. I love you all day long. That ain't why I love you, but you're going to have to clean your mouth up. And then when you clean it up around me. Please don't cuss, because I got this jar right here. Every time you cuss, you're going to put $1 in there. Because then I'm trying to get that devil to shrink. I don't want him staying there, because I realize as long as he growing on your shoulder, you're going to be so out of character, and you're the one God says I got to separate from. So if I really love you like I say I do, then one of them characteristics that's in 2 Timothy and 3, I'm either going to have to love the hell out of you and leave you alone, or I'm going to love you enough to realize that that is not you. So I'm going to help you tap in to who your greatness is, so that your devil not only shrink, but you can knock him off your shoulder. And that's what I do to people. I just be looking at it. They go, girl, what you looking at? I go, I don't like that little demon on your shoulder right there. When they get to acting stupid, I ain't gonna get mad at her. I'm gonna get mad at the devil. So she can be like, well, girl, what you looking at? I go, girl, huh, that little demon on your shoulder. Girl, I ain't liking him today, girl. I'm gonna call you back. Or girl, I'll talk to you later. And it's beautiful because they see it too. They be like, girl, you know what? I was going on and on. I go, yeah, you was going on, and I love you. But that right there is controlling you, but it's not going to control me. So therefore, not controlling me mean I ain't going to hear it. Because you can't talk about it today and then put it on Facebook tomorrow. I gave you the solution, but then you put it on Facebook tomorrow. So see, you ain't receiving. So I don't do well with people that don't receive. You feel me?
Right.
It's like you feeding a baby. When I feed the baby, if he don't want the milk, you ain't going to just keep putting the milk in his mouth and choke it when it don't want the milk no more. So God is saying everybody don't want it, Sherry. And that's okay. But don't lose you because they lost them. Because see, they need to see you and find him again. So I'm going to love the hell out of you. You going to do you, but I'm going to love you from over here. Because then when you call me and need something, I'm still going to help you. And that's what the devil don't want. The devil wants you to stay mad at people so you can't help them. So people out there today love the hell out of people. And when they ask for something, just be truthful and love them anyway. And it'll make the devil just go on and leave because he realized this ain't going to work right here because she ain't staying mad. She ain't mad. And that's all God is saying. Get to that Rudy Payne, y'all.
Woo, said some things there. Said some stuff right there, boy. I tell you. People be like,
Yes.
how you smile? How you ha ha. I tell you what, I
Yes.
chose Jesus over myself a long time ago.
Yes.
And that's what I'm telling them. If you want joy, you got to choose Jesus over yourself. And when you choose
That's right.
Jesus over yourself, you will have joy. And then you won't have to worry about happiness because happiness is temporary. That's
Yes.
temporary because you can have joy even in the midst of your sadness, in the midst of anything, you can still find joy. So I choose Jesus over myself. Ah,
Because the Bible never told you to love yourself. And I challenged somebody with that. I said, you will never find in the Bible that God instructs you to love yourself because that is a default. You're supposed to already do that. And so many people don't love themselves because nobody gave them grace in a situation where they needed to love the hell out of them and not tell nobody to go to hell. See, a lot of times people tell you go to hell, but see, that's the devil. The God will never tell you that. God will say, I love the hell out of you. So don't tell nobody to go to hell no more, y'all. So they just might
wow.
end up there.
Wow. I tell you, I truly have enjoyed this on today. I
Thank
want people to
you.
be able to follow you and support you. So please run down how they can follow you one more time.
You can follow me on Facebook directly on Sherri LAVON on Facebook. You can also go to Soul's Right House on Facebook. And then Sherri LAVON Music is out there available on TikTok. You can do Sherri LAVON Music on YouTube. But I'm out there. And most importantly, I posted soulsrighthouse.com/magazine. So you guys can get your entries in by December the 17th. So you can see your pretty self and your pretty pictures and your beautiful brand in a magazine that's touching lives all over the world. And thank you, Angela,
And
so
I
much
shared
for
the
having me
link.
on this platform.
It is up on the screen for those that are interested. I posted it up on the screen. But I definitely I thank you for stopping by and sharing. I tell you, I have truly been blessed on today. I have been blessed on today. If there's anything that you would like to share, inspirational, anything that you have coming up, anything that you just want to leave us with on today.
Yes, we're going to be coming up with a conference here at the beginning of the year. It's called The Power of the Tongue, Proverbs 18. And we're going to be talking about the Miss, Mrs., and Mrs. So you guys stay tuned. There'll be a workbook that you can purchase so that you can follow along with this virtual conference. And actually, I'll be getting with you, Angela, about being a speaker. We're just trying to get through this year here, but we're going to have you on our panel. So we're going to be talking about the seasons. And God wants me to let all y'all know this. Praise is what I'll do when I wanna get close to you, 'cause I lift my hands in praise, and no circumstance, it don't even stand a chance, 'cause I lift my hand in praise. For I vow to praise you through the good and the bad. God will praise you, whether happy or sad. God will praise you, God, in all that we go through, because praise is what I will do. Love all of you all. Mwah.
Love you and thank you for stopping by and sharing with us on today.
Yes, ma'am.
I tell you, I have truly been blessed on today. I want y'all to make sure that you go over and support this amazing woman of God. When I tell you she has her hand in a lot and is doing a lot, she's touching lives. She is the change that she desired to see. I want you to be the change that you desire to see by supporting what she's doing. I want to thank you guys for stopping by and sharing with me once again. I am the queen of collaboration. Make sure that you stay connected to the platform so that you can meet some more of these amazing individuals. God is doing something powerful in this season. It's time for you to catch up with your destiny. It is already written. Jeremiah 29:11, he said he had a plan for us to prosper us, for us to be in good health, for us to have hope in the future. Catch up with your destiny. It awaits you. Thank you guys for stopping by on today. Be blessed. I love you guys.